Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Compositions, the show where we talk about music and how it shaped our lives. I am your host, Jarrell Hall, and today my special guest is someone who I've known for very close to 2 years. So let me introduce you to my good friend, Merri Curran.
Hi, guys.
How you doing today?
I'm good. It's a day off. Can't get any better.
Well, lucky you. I have to work in the next few hours. But, but it's all good. It's all good. But I want to thank you for being here and doing this for me. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah, it's good seeing you. So we're going to get right into it. So basically, we're just going to talk about the different parts of our lives, different eras, and just talk about how all the different, bands or just different genres of music in general that just helped us throughout our lives and help us, become who we are today. And let's go ahead and just start with our childhoods. Thinking back when you was a kid, what was your introduction to music, or what do you remember listening to back then, and what was going on during that time?
I grew up listening to a lot of old rock. I listened to Heart and the Beach Boys around my dad, Leonard Skinner. They were all into the old 70s rock bands and everything. My dad was a drummer, so he loved all of the percussionists.
Oh, he was a drummer?
Yeah, he he got a drum scholarship to go to college. I also listened to I don't know if you've heard of Mannheim Steamroller.
Never heard of them.
You have to listen to them. They're this orchestra that basically is just all percussionists and music, and there's no words, but they play and remix different songs. They've got a whole Christmas albums, and they also they did something called Mannheim Steamroller Does the Mouse, where they covered tons of Disney songs and everything and remixed them a little bit.
Does the Mouse. Okay,
yeah.
I got you, yeah.
So, I grew up a lot with that, and then the other half I grew up with was a lot of Christian music. My mother was 7 days a week church, Christian school for us, so I tended to gravitate towards the rock Christian music. One of my favorite bands was DC Talk. They were this rock punk band or pop band for Christian music that also had a rapper in it, and I used to play them all the time, and we'd go and see them when they did Christian festivals and stuff down in West Palm Beach and everything.
Okay. So
it was something different than the normal gospel music on Sundays kind of thing. Better than
my childhood, I was going to church a lot when I was a kid. I pretty much had no choice. But,
yeah, me too.
But yeah, we just going to a dominantly, black church. Of course, he's going to have that soul R&B-ish type of stuff. That type of Christian music where it had all those other elements to it. I didn't even know that really exists. I thought it was just either my type or the type that you hear in Catholic churches.
Yeah.
All the, those big, huge organs and the holy choir, those angelic type of singing and stuff.
Exactly.
I thought that was it. Yeah, my childhood was pretty much just oldies, Motown and old funk and soul and James Brown and things like that.
Yeah.
My childhood was just full of good music, really. Just full of songs that just make you want to party, dance, have a good time. All about love, just loving the next person, loving your family, things like that. That's what I was listening to for majority of my childhood years. I can relate to half of what your childhood was like and everything. Was there anything else that you listening to?
It's funny because with my mom, it was all Christian music. There was nothing else but Christian music. But with my dad and stepmom, I had all of that classic rock, and I also had a lot of country. Mm-hmm. So it was all, Shania Twain, whose bed have your boots been under kind of thing. John Michael Montgomery, Alan Jackson with Chattahoochee, just all the line dancing, boot wearing celebratory music. So yeah, that was about the mix, about everything. It was just Christian rock and then some country for the most part.
Okay, that's what's up. The line dancing.
I only know one line dance. Don't make me do it.
No. It's just funny that you mentioned that, because my best friend tricked me into going to a country club, and
that's a terrible friend.
Yeah. Yeah, he was terrible that night. But yeah, I walked in, I was like, oh my God, I felt so out of place, and I saw people doing the line dance. I was like, I'm gonna kill this guy.
I have a story about a country club. So I was like, I don't know if I was like 11 or 12, and then all of a sudden my mom and my 2 older sisters are getting me ready to go out. I have no idea where I'm going. And my stepmom dresses me up in like 70 to 80s type of country clothes to go out. And my sisters are just looking at me like we're crazy. And so I go, and so then they tried to change me into something that was a little bit more current for me to go to like technically my first club kind of like dance thing or whatever. It was just so weird. And I don't even think I danced. I don't remember if I danced or not. I just remember being like really overwhelmed. There was just like this big, huge, like square dance floor with like hundreds of people friggin' line dancing and dancing to the music and stuff. It was, I never went to another one again, but that was my first and only time.
Yeah, same here. That was the first and last time I ever went to a country club. Never again. I'm not listening to him. We can actually go to the next phase, since we're going into like the preteen years. There's a big difference between, middle school years, like the preteen years, and then the childhoods and all that. There's a big difference. So did anything new come into your life music wise, and like anything that you went through during those times that, that brought you to certain other genres or anything like that?
Honestly, the main band I remember from my middle school years was No Doubt. With Gwen Stefani and everything. I guess it was me starting to be able to branch more out into like my kind of rock or pop and everything, instead of the classic or the country or the Christian and everything. And it being a female vocal singer was like a big deal for me. Plus, she's hot, so
yeah.
I may not have realized it at the time, but I did years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I liked how they had like the genre of ska, but they had so many different elements in different songs. Like they could have like a slow pop song or a major rock song or ska or like different things, and I tend to like that a lot when artists can do different things, and especially like now, like when people, not just the artists themselves remake their own songs, but other artists remake other people's songs, and sometimes like they sometimes are able to make it better than the original,
right? Or
just completely different. It's just something new, but it's still the original song. So
only a few people can do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, during my middle school years, that's when I was getting into hip hop very heavily. I was really like getting to like a bunch of different rappers, like DMX and Jay-Z and Eminem, Snoop Dogg. Like there was a lot, like Busta Rhymes. There was a lot of rappers that were like completely awesome, and they pretty much helped make hip hop this really beautiful thing. And I just remember just radio in general. Like that was back when radio was like really, really good. Like you can go to any station and all the songs were just
all
great.
the songs were jamming.
Like you could just jam all day long. And that, and plus like you had a great selection for like school parties. Yeah, I remember going to the school dances and stuff, and we were just all jamming and having a good time.
This is going to be so white of me, but I just remembered two bands or whatever that I remember from like my early middle school years. Yes, I did listen to some Backstreet Boys. I have to
Well, everyone has heard
admit to
that.
that.
Yeah, everyone
I grew up like I was a little bit like I liked some of NSYNC's, but I had started with Backstreet Boys, and so NSYNC didn't really hit me like the same way, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I also remember the Spice Girls were big.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I remember being in middle school going to like slumber parties, and we watched like the Spice Girls movie, and we're just playing playing all the music and stuff and like singing, and it was just such a such like a girl power kid jam.
It's like Spice Girls was just something that we all knew who they were. It's just some of us were like, yeah, I'm just not gonna. Yeah,
I'm not gonna go there.
I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna like just tell everyone, oh yeah, I listen to them. No, I don't. There was just some things I just couldn't get into. Like some of the things that came out during that time. It's like they were so popular that you couldn't escape from them. Like everyone knew who they were. It's just, no, I'm not gonna listen to them. And Spice Girl was definitely one of them. What was it? Oh yeah, well Backstreet Boys and that whole boy band generation.
Yeah.
That, I mean,
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Some of the songs that they both had, we actually learned it. Like we didn't want to learn it, but we just couldn't help but learn it because they played it all the fucking time on the radio.
They did.
Yeah. So it's like,
they did.
It's like you hear it play, you start singing along. You can't help it. You don't want to, but why am I singing this song and I don't like it? It's that guilty pleasure, I guess. But it is what it is. But it's funny that you mentioned that. Freaking boy bands were heavy during that time for sure.
Well, really, like there was the Backstreet, like for boy bands that I can remember that were major. It was just like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, and then I really honestly don't remember another one coming up that was that major until
98 Degrees. Or...
Oh yeah, 98 Degrees. I forgot about 98 Degrees.
I don't know any of their songs, but I know that
I don't remember. All I know is Nick Lachey, and he was married to Jessica Simpson.
Yeah, that's all I remember. Yeah.
But I don't remember like another one. Well, I guess after 98 Degrees until like later on, years later, when like One Direction came out.
But that's way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's yeah. There was like a big gap of like major boy bands after like 98 Degrees and NSYNC that like really hit it off.
Yeah, anything between that, like it's like.
Yeah,
I don't remember. I don't remember any of that kind of blew
up. No, I don't either.
Yeah, that's pretty much all there is, for the middle school era. So let's go ahead and go into like the high school years. The teenager years when we're starting to, when we're going through that stage where we're trying to figure ourselves out and find out, who we really are and what we're into.
That was an interesting rebellious stage for me. We
all went through that.
I was drifting into more of a goth, like darker thing.
All right, well,
starting in 9th grade.
Okay, well, let's go into that. Like, what was going on during those years, and like what music helped you out?
One of the first singers or whatever I remember being completely, which I don't know if it's because I was gay. I didn't know I was gay at that point, but when Avril Lavigne came out, I was obsessed. Like
she was big time.
I loved all of her. I loved all of her songs. I fucking wore a tie. I had like a long trench coat, like a red and black, like woven. I called it my trench coat or whatever, and I wore that all the time. And I was just jamming out to all of her songs and stuff. That's really like the only like major pop that I can remember. I started diving a little bit into like hip hop with like Missy Elliott.
Oh yeah.
And everything because she was big around then.
Yeah.
But I also really found my love for like rock because I became addicted to Linkin Park and Incubus during high school. Like Linkin Park was such a big thing for my life. Like when he died, when Chester Bennington died, I cried. I was just devastated, and
like the whole world.
Yeah, it completely like when I was going through my like. I didn't want to live with my mother anymore. I just was done. I would literally play Linkin Park in my room and just be screaming, I want to run Like I was just like, I loved.
He's singing to me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so Linkin Park was like a big deal for me, and I loved like all of their music. I loved how they had their first album that was a major hit, and then like a lot of people didn't like their second album, but
their second album was fire.
I loved all of their albums. Like I loved that they fucking took all of their great songs and were able to remix them and make them as good or better than the originals.
Yeah,
like that, and then their CD with Jay-Z.
Collision Course.
Yeah, Collision Course. Like
that
all
was
of it.
Dope. That was dope. That was actually genius.
It was so good. Like the different ways that they came up just to remix, and they weren't afraid to change their songs. They weren't completely dedicated to it had to sound this way. They could change it and make it different. And it was just a big deal for me. Linkin Park has always just been one of my favorite bands.
Yeah.
Another band is Incubus. I still listen to them to this day. I love all of their music. That was the last guy crush celebrity that I ever had was Brandon Boyd. And it's funny because the other day I was just playing YouTube and just letting it go through like music videos and stuff. Yeah. And I'm watching this music video of him singing the song Drive. And I texted my best friend. I'm just like, I'm looking at Brandon Boyd right now and wondering how the hell I ever liked him. I'm such a lesbian now. I was just like, you're skinny and frail. God. I think the only reason I was attracted to you was because you were almost tiny like a woman. Like, there's no, I don't get it now. It made sense to me back then, but
oh my God.
I loved all of their music. Like, I want to see them in concert so bad too.
Yeah, I've heard some of this stuff, and they're very good. But yeah, high school, it was a new world for me. I was going through like a lot, to be honest. Like, you see all these students, you know, and they're all like different ages, different grade levels and stuff. And it's like, you know, of course you got the seniors. There were all these big, you know, mature people and stuff. Right. And then you're this little kid, you know, just trying to find, you know, your way and stuff. You know, trying to find that friend, or find that group that you could fit in with, and you know, things like that. Yeah, it was a scary experience.
I loved high school. That was my favorite. I went to 3 elementary schools, 3 middle schools, and 2 high schools. I got teased out of 6 schools, and I finally found that when I got to high school, everybody just grew the fuck up. I was able to. I didn't like have a group because I was more like, not goth, but like, I was more into like rock and all this other stuff, but I was also very much, not a girly girl, but I had hair down to my ass. Like, I played softball and everything, and so it was just like, I didn't really have a group, but I just got along with like everybody from different places. Another band that I really liked in high school was System of a Down.
Oh yeah, that was a great band.
I love when like everybody's like, oh well, you can't put out. Oh, the first song is always the best song, but like they have to put out a first song to be able to draw people in and introduce themselves to everybody. And Toxicity was just so good for that, and they have so many good ones. Aerials. And I liked how they were more like heavy rock, but they also were able to like do like soft songs a little bit too.
Yeah, they had like some kind of elegant, playful side to them. You know, it really like blended in with the hard rock string stuff very well.
Exactly.
Like,
it was like seamless.
Really, they knew how to do that just smoothly, and that was like, that's a nice transition. I really dig that. System of a Down is a really great band. And yeah, like I was introduced to them with Chop Suey. Everyone knows that song. If you don't know that song, then I don't know where the hell you've been.
My mom used to always get mad at me because I'd be singing Chop Suey, and I was just like, when angels deserve to die. And she's like, Merri. I'm like, what?
Yeah, when I was in high school, System of a Down wasn't my first band. Linkin Park actually was.
Yeah.
And I know you brought them up earlier.
Mm-hmm.
That was the band I got introduced to because I was actually, I was introduced to them by this girl that I had a major crush on. And she was like the biggest Linkin Park fan I've ever seen. And she had all their albums and stuff. She let me listen to it, and I did. I was like, wow, like these guys are actually good. And I remember watching, like, back when MTV was good. And when I get...
when it played music.
When it actually played music, yeah. I would get up in the morning and get ready for school, you know, to catch the bus and all that. And I would watch MTV because they would play music videos, like, that early. And I was just listening to music while I get dressed. And at that time, that's when the music video for Numb was out. Mm-hmm. And I remember, you know, when I first watched it, and I was like, this guy's doing all this screaming, yet I can understand everything this guy is saying.
Yeah.
Because before that, I thought it was, you know, rock was just all screaming all this stuff, but you can't understand a word they're saying. But Chester changed my perspective on it. He changed the way I looked at rock. And I was like, okay, they have this, so let me see what else they have. And I was, you know, just going bit by bit through all their songs. And next thing you know, I'm like, okay, this band is great. I love their sound. I like what they talk about, because during that time, during the high school years, you know, that's when you start going through those really, like your first heartbreak and your first, you know, rejection from a group of people. You start feeling inadequate, and you feel lost because you're trying to figure things out, and you feel confusion, like all those different emotions that you go through in high school. They really spoke on it.
Yeah.
You know, and the reason why I started leaning heavy to the rock, because like R&B and hip hop, they weren't talking about those things. They weren't talking about those emotions.
No, exactly.
That so it's like, and I needed something to help me get through those.
It was all about the money and the hose.
Yeah, you did right. It was about the
and when we're in high school, we're like, ain't got no money or hose.
Yeah, it's like, it was about big screen TVs, blunts, 40s, and bitches. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't have any of that shit that they were rapping about.
Right?
It sounded good, we enjoyed it, but we didn't have that.
It doesn't make sense for me to sing this.
Right. But with the rock songs and stuff, at least they actually talked about what you were feeling, what you were experiencing. So it's like, yeah, you're going to lean towards this so it can help you out.
Spoke to the teen angst.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, Linkin Park was like my introduction to the whole rock genre. They taught me how to really like connect with my feelings, and they explained what this is, what that is, and they just let me know that it was okay to feel this way, that you're going to make it, you're going to get through it, and things like that. So I was like, yeah, this band is great. Let me find, you know, something else, or maybe another band who talks about these similar things. So Linkin Park led to Korn, and then Korn led to Evanescence.
I was about to say Evanescence was
led
a big,
to like, you know, Disturbed, and then so it just went to all these different bands.
Stained was a big one for me. You
know, I know of them, but I never I probably heard a song from them, but it's been a while.
It's been a while since,
okay. I didn't know that was them.
No,
okay.
yeah,
but I've heard that song before. Okay.
Stained is really, especially like that album is very much like depressed breakup songs. Like
okay.
It's I'm drinking and on drugs and you left me. It's been a while. Like that was Stained.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, like I said, I probably heard a bunch of their songs, but I just didn't know it was them. But I definitely heard that song.
Yeah.
But I was just trying to find all these different bands that just touched like different subjects, you know, or they delivered a certain emotion in a certain way. If I wanted the screaming, I could go to here. If I want that, just those dark lyrics, I'll go there. If I want the elegant singing, I'll go here. You know, like all these different bands, like it fell under the same genre, but they had their own delivery and a different way of like writing their emotions. You know, even though it's the same thing, they wrote it differently. So like even that helped me out. All those things really got me through, but Linkin Park for sure really got me through all 4 years of high school. And
I knew you were my friend for a reason.
We just get along. We connect. We just connect just internally. Like we do. Like we're on the same mind. On the same page and everything. Yes. But yeah, like high school was it was a lot. Was there anything else that you went through in high school and everything?
I don't know if this is like high school or this was like the start of college, technically. So around that time after I went to college, I met my now ex-husband, and he introduced me to some metal, In Flames, and it's German metal if I remember correctly. And I liked them because they had a lot of like normal metal, like screaming kind of thing and everything, but they also had like some softer songs that were like, it wasn't as popular because everybody just wanted them to scream, but it was, I liked it because it was just different.
Right.
And it was In Flames in college and Infected Mushroom. Infected Mushroom is just, they have like this electronic rock vibe.
Yeah.
And it's like nothing I've ever heard before. Like I've never heard anything close to them. They have some songs that are kind of weird, but like a lot of the ones that are good are really good. That reminds me, I'm going to put that on a playlist later.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about them in years.
Okay. Well, we can just go ahead and go on to like the adult years all the way up until, like 21 up until now. What else were you getting into? Like what helped you out during all those years up until now? Like, what were you getting into heavily?
I've found a lot of different like bands and artists that I've loved over the years, like Gorillaz.
I love Gorillaz.
Gorillaz is so good.
And I got into them heavily like during my after high school.
Yeah, as soon as I heard Feel Good Inc. As soon as I heard Feel Good Inc., I was like,
I think that came out when I was still in high school.
Actually, that might have been in high school. Yeah. I think that might have been in high school.
Because I remember hearing their Clint Eastwood song back in middle school.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood.
And then I heard Feel Good, like, I think
got my years messed up.
At some point in high school.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they must have been high school.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah, and I never owned any of their albums, but I did hear some of their singles and stuff. But after high school, that's when I actually bought their albums. And I got into them. And yeah, that's another great band that has a very diverse sound.
Yeah, very. I love things that are just like different.
Yeah.
Like, and they work.
Yeah.
And I love it when people can, especially with all the different artists and all of the different genres and everything through the years, and that people still come out with something new.
Yeah.
Is just a big thing for me in music.
They can work with anybody. Like, I've seen them work with certain people. I'm like, how the hell did that work? But I listen to the song, I'm like, okay, they did good. Like, it sounds good. It sounds great. So I'm like, it's a weird combination, but they make it work somehow every time, So that's one of the big things I love about them.
It was also very interesting to have them come out and their band, they just have the characters.
Right, yeah,
You don't ever see them. You don't ever see them, so they don't have... You can't go look for them or look up pictures or anything. It's just those characters. And that's really cool to me because they could make who they are up. They were like, this is who I am. Right. This is who's singing to you.
Right. Well, the first half of their career, they stayed in the background.
I've never seen pictures of them.
Like the people that voice?
Yeah.
I've never
seen pictures of them. I didn't know they've shown themselves.
They've shown themselves like a long ass time ago.
I'm late to that party. I didn't know.
Yeah, like I don't know how many years ago, but yeah, they've shown themselves a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah, the guy that plays 2D, the main, the lead singer, yeah, everyone knows who he is.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, look it up, and it'll show you right there. You like things that sounds different, and you were going to like things that were like foreign, and things like that. Like they were like speaking like different languages, and stuff like that.
A little bit. Some of it with different languages and stuff. They also had like English stuff. Like Infected Mushroom also had like English and everything too. But like I was really like branching out into different things that I hadn't heard before. Like, I was starting to go into college. There was all these new people I was around and everything, and just kind of broadened my listening.
Yeah, I can relate to that because, like, once I become an adult and, up until this point, I was still listening to the same genres that I've always been listening to, but I actually started getting into, what was it, like lo-fi, like there's just that chill vibe music, and I came across a few songs that came from different countries, like there's this band from Paris, I think, that has a song that I like, and then there was this song from a Japanese girl that I enjoyed. Yeah, there was quite a few songs that I've heard where I don't understand a word that they're saying,
but it's good.
But it sounds great because the way they deliver it and the music itself is great. So it's crazy how things from a whole different continent, it sounds good to you, and it makes you feel good in your soul. So you just I'm gonna go ahead download that song. It's like, during your adulthood years, like you're dealing with, responsibilities, because, the jobs and family and, things like, all that stuff. And, you need to, you have to find something that will help you, like, get through those moments. I guess what I was trying to say is, like, you hit a point where you're trying to find things that are mature. If that makes any sense. Like things that kind of dive into, like, adult feelings. It deals with adult topics. It's not hard to find that because the bands and the musical artists that we grew up with, like they grew up as well. And
exactly.
You can hear it in their lyrics because they actually start talking about, like, like politics and society, stuff like that. Like Rage Against the Machine has been doing that for freaking decades.
Ever.
Yeah, but you start seeing, like, other, like, bands and artists, like, starting doing the same thing as well, because, society has changed a whole lot, between when we were kids to now. Like, it definitely changed. And what's crazy is, like, how different music is now, because, like, now it's all about, I don't know,
There's still a lot of very different things coming out, to be honest, though.
It is, but it seems like they're all talking about the same thing. Like, no matter what genre
That's
it is.
you're listening to regular radio.
I don't listen to radio no more.
You don't?
No, because they play the same songs, like, within 30 minutes. Like, they play the same song.
No,
it got way too repetitive.
No, I know.
And also, especially, like, with hip hop. Like, hip hop is just, I mean, besides a selective few, for the most part, it is bad now. Like, it's really, really bad because it's all of the same thing.
Yeah.
It's all the same thing.
I'm trying to even think of, like, a hip hop that I like right now.
Like today?
Yeah, like, I'm trying to think of a hip hop that I like, and I honestly can't bring anything up.
Well,
that's, like, major.
Well, for me, as far as hip hop goes, big time I listen to Kendrick Lamar. Like, he's
good.
He's like my hip hop.
Good.
He's my hip hop hero. Like, ever since he came out, like he's like a breath of fresh air to me. Like, in the midst of all this other stuff that has come out and everything, like, whenever I hear him, I'm like, oh my God, thank you. Substance, lyrics, delivery, bars. Like he really just brings everything that I want to hear in hip hop. Same thing with, like, J. Cole, and I'm actually happy to see Eminem still doing this thing. The bars that he be spitting, it's incredible. I'm like, yo, this guy right here, he reached a level that's like, it just blows my mind every time he raps. I'm like, oh my God.
I really don't like Eminem's new stuff.
Why not?
You knew about the beef between Eminem and MGK? Rap God and Rap Devil? Yeah. Rap God was fucking stupid. MGK completely toasted him on that. It was, like, out of the park, completely just...
Are you serious?
Yes! I hated Rap God. It was stupid.
Well, Rap God really was just... I don't think he was trying to, like, really spit bars, like, in that sense. I think he was... the purpose of that song...
If you come with a diss track, you have to spit bars. I'm sorry.
Well, I know, really, Rap God was really just him rapping. And I think the major thing that he was trying to show in that song was his speed, like the delivery of him spitting out the words. I think that was the main point of that song, despite what the lyrics were saying. Now,
he came after MGK. He went after MGK. That was the whole reason MGK had to say something. Because he's talked shit about his daughter and everything.
Well, okay, but he told him to not. That's like a golden, like one of the golden rules with Eminem, and everyone knows this. He should have known better. It's like, don't talk about his daughter, and he told him that, but he kept doing it. So he had to say something. So yeah, Eminem said something, to him on one song, and then MGK
blew him out of the water.
Sorry. Okay, how he blew him out of the water when after Rap Devil, Eminem came out with Kill Shot and pretty much. I
didn't think Kill Shot was good either.
You are crazy.
I did not think Kill Shot was good either.
That diss track alone made MGK change genres and go back to punk rock.
No.
That changed his whole career up big time.
No.
Yes. He lost so much respect and lost so many fans because of that.
I don't think so. I don't know.
If you were, I believe if you are a true hip hop head, you would find that Killshot completely destroyed MGK.
Well, I'm not a true hip hop head.
Okay.
So.
I mean, that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah,
like, I mean, you can have your own opinion and all.
I get it.
I mean, if you think MGK won that battle, okay.
I just thought Eminem's. I just did not think Eminem's songs were good enough. I'm just saying.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'm at that point in my life where I'm enjoying the artists that actually talking about like everything that's going on out there in the world. Mm-hmm. Really just socially conscious and letting everyone know like, hey, this is how I see the world right now, or this is what I feel is going to happen in the future, or stuff like that. For the most part, all you hear out there right now is just twerking, sex, drugs, guns, and clubs. Like,
what
it's
are you listening to?
I listen to a bunch of stuff. Like, well, really, that's mainly for like hip hop and rap and stuff. I really don't know what the state of rock is right now. I wish I did. I wish I could find someone who actually knows what is going on in the rock world today.
Yeah, I honestly, I can't really think of anything. Like, a big rock band for me that came out was Imagine Dragons.
I know about them.
I loved all of their songs. About to say Mumford & Sons. I like them too, but they're not rock. They're more of like folk rock. Mm-hmm. But they just have like a different sound. They're, using the banjo and just using different instruments and everything. Mm-hmm. And I saw them in concert. They're really good. They didn't play my favorite song. I was screaming. But they were really good. It was the last concert I've seen.
I went to a Pearl Jam concert.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. The last time they came here to Tampa, and there was one song that I was hoping they would play, but they did, and I was like,
I was like screaming, white blank page, encore, come back. How do you not play your single from the radio? I did not get it. I was like, are you fucking serious? You don't play my favorite song that's on the radio?
What? It happens.
I was so upset.
It happens. Like,
I was so upset.
When Kendrick Lamar was down here for the tour that he's on right now, when he came down here, I'm waiting for him to play Swimming Pools. He did not play that. And I was like, that was like your breakout hit right there. That was like the song that kind of made everyone know who you were. I'm like, are you serious? Like, that's like one of your biggest hits.
It makes no sense.
And he did not play it at all. I was like, wow. Mm-hmm. It blew my mind. I was like, damn, he did not play that. But it happens.
Yeah.
It happens. But, I mean, it is what it is. Okay, well, if there's nothing else, I guess we can go ahead and end this whole thing right now. But before we end it, do you have anything that you want to say to any of your musical heroes, or just music itself, or anything you want to close this out with?
Just want music to be the thing that keeps me getting by every day.
Well, it's definitely going to do that. Yeah. And music will always be there.
Bro, when I work, literally, like, I put my headphones on. I'm surrounded by fishes and water, just vacuuming. It's a vibe, bro.
It's a vibe.
Like, it's a fucking vibe. Like, I know there's like fucking video of me on the cameras at work of me like dancing and fucking vacuuming. It's hilarious.
Oh my God. That's what music is for. Like, music is there for you to help you get through those 9-to-5 shifts and stuff like that. Like, that's what they're there for. Because music just makes things so much better. Like, even when you're doing things that you hate, you still do it, and it makes you feel good when you listen to music and doing it. So that's what it's all about. My closing note, I believe that the state of music right now, it can be better for the most part. There's some hidden gems here and there.
There's some good stuff that comes out. Like,
no. I'm not saying that, everything's horrible. No, but it can be better.
It could be better, because I really only find like little gems here and there.
It's like that good music. Like, back in the day, there used to be an abundance of good music.
No, I know.
But now it's mostly crap.
It's like hit or miss.
Yeah, really. And it's like,
if it misses, it really misses.
Yeah, big time. But you still manage to find like those great things here and there. They're like scattered, and you just have to find it. I wish good music, I should say. I just wish that it would come back to that point where it was like a whole bunch of it, where it's literally everywhere.
I'm excited by some of the new artists, honestly, that are coming out. Like, I am addicted to Billie Eilish. I love her shit.
Yeah, everyone knows that. She's blowing up.
Addicted.
Well, she's
to
been
Billie.
blew up, but
I've been addicted to Billie Eilish. Like, all of her songs are good, and it's just like, it's again something that you've just never really heard before.
I'm gonna have to like really sit down one day and just like go back to her first few stuff and just really listen.
Oh, you have to. It's good.
I personally, I don't understand how she's so big the way she is right now. I'm like, I haven't heard anything from this girl that just blew my mind or that got people going crazy for this girl. This girl is like up there.
What is that?
Like, she's like,
her first song?
she's like almost up there, like with Rihanna. Like,
what was her first song?
I have no idea. Like,
it's not Bad Guy. It's something else. Bad Guy was good, but I think it's called See Me in a Crown. That was just completely different than anything I had ever heard. And all of her songs and especially she's like evolving as she's getting older too. Like, her second album is way different than her first. And it's just I'm actually excited to see, because she's only like 18. I'm excited to see where
she's only 18?
She's only fucking 18, bro.
I thought she was a little bit older than that.
No, she's 18. She got her first hit when she was 16.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And this is where she's that massive, and she's only 18. I'm excited to see where she takes her music, really.
Well, I mean, like I said, she's like, as far as like status and all that, she's up there.
She's up there, yeah.
She's definitely, I'm not denying that. She's up there because she's freaking everywhere, on like all the platforms. And like, everyone knows who she is. And they're always requesting her and all that. So it's like, she is definitely up there.
I literally like all of her songs. And I don't say that about many artists or bands.
There's just some like artists out there where I'm like, okay, you're this big.
How?
How?
Yeah.
So I need to sit down and actually listen to your stuff and see if it's like valid to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got
if everything's legit. But I just wish that good music that actually has substance and
that's what
just
it's missing.
Great delivery. Substance. Yeah, like, just like they talk about different topics, not going down that same old lane.
Cookie cutter.
Yeah, like just that quick success stuff. It's like, no, it's like,
well, see,
there's more to this world than that. And I just hope that music can get back to that point where it spreads out and just involve everything in life,
I want to get back to, because a lot of the songs and stuff that become popular and everything aren't written by the artists.
Well, like, that too.
Like, like Beyonce, she doesn't really write any of her songs. She'll edit a song to get her name as that she helped create it. She'll edit a song slightly, even if she just changes a sentence. I have my name on it now. I did it.
I'm not like the biggest fan of Beyonce, so I never like. I never took the time to like look at like the song credits and see who wrote this and who wrote that. I mean, I really, when it comes to her songs and all that, I really don't care. But the general fact that a lot of these artists are not writing their own songs, that part's true. And
it's missing.
I wish, that's missing, and I wish that would come back as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, all I can say is that we'll just see what happens. All we know is where music is at right now. We don't know where it's gonna go. We just have to wait and see. Anyway, that would be all for this episode. I would like to thank you, Merri, for joining me once again.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this was an interesting conversation. I actually learned some stuff about you that I didn't know, so it's all good. I have a book out right now called What Say You? It's available on Amazon, so make sure you get a copy of that. And also subscribe to my channel, like the video, write comments, click on the bell for notifications, and, the whole 9 yards. This has been another episode of Compositions. This is Jarrell signing out. Peace.